Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and today I would like for you to come with me on a journey through time and space, to a world of speculative game mechanics for Monster Hunter. Lately I have been thinking a lot about different game mechanics that I think would fit well in Monster Hunter either in Wilds or in a future Monster Hunter game. And with the release of Title Update 2, one of those mechanics in particular has jumped to the forefront of my mind. Title Update 2 introduced what might be my favorite quest in the entirety of Monster Hunter Wilds, if not the entire Monster Hunter franchise, and that being the Fashion Hunter quest you get from Gemma. If you haven't done this quest yet, or don't remember this quest because it's been a little bit since you've done it, it basically boils down to Gemma tells you she is going to be putting on what is effectively a Monster Hunter fashion show with the other hunting units on the expedition. She then gives you a shopping list of armor to forge to make a funky little fit, and then you get an amazing cutscene of you strutting your stuff with all of the other NPC hunters that you have potentially called in as support hunters throughout your journey in Wilds, and you get to see Olivia take the stage and prove once and for all that she is the best girl. It's beautiful. It is a perfect quest, and it made me want more. Ask any Monster Hunter fan, and it is very likely that they will tell you that fashion is the true endgame of Monster Hunter and always has been. So it is wild to me that Monster Hunter has never cashed in on that in terms of making an endgame mechanic that revolves around fashion hunting. There's a part of me that wants to believe that Title Update 2 in particular was testing the waters for a lot of things that might show up in either the inevitable expansion to Monster Hunter Wilds or in a future Monster Hunter game, whether it be underwater combat returning through the Lagiacrus hunt, or testing a endgame fashion-focused system with this quest. And what I want to do today is talk about what I think that could look like, and while I was putting together my notes and getting my thoughts all in order, I realized that there is already an almost one-to-one perfect match for how I think Monster Hunter could do it in a different game, which Monster Hunter has already collaborated with in the past. So in order to talk about that, I want to drag us away from Monster Hunter Wilds for a little bit and over to another one of my recent video game obsessions. Yes, I have sacrificed the remainder of my soul and free time and gotten back into Final Fantasy XIV. Much like Monster Hunter, fashion is a key part of the community endgame loop of Final Fantasy XIV, with well-loved, good-looking, and usually scantily clad sets of armor going for a lot of money in the in-game economy. And in one of the expansions for Final Fantasy XIV, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't write it down before I started recording this, so I don't remember which one, they introduced a way for players to engage with that fashion system as a game mechanic through a bit of content called Fashion Reports. Each week after the weekly reset of Final Fantasy XIV, you can visit the Gold Saucer, which is kind of the in-game currency casino area. You can visit an NPC who will give you a theme for that week of fashion that you need to present to him. The way it works is it will show you kind of a blank silhouette for each armor slot, whether it be head, chest, arms, legs, and feet. And next to each of those slots, it will give you a very vague thematic description of what kind of armor piece that the NPC is looking for. It's then up to you to put together an outfit that matches that thematic description and present it to the NPC for scoring. Depending on your score, you will get different tiers of currency for the in-game casino shop, which features things like mounts, specific weapons and armor skins, and hairstyles, and usually just like small cosmetic thematic things. It is a very interesting system, and to the best of my knowledge, the way it works is that each armor piece, each theme for the week, has a pool of armor choices that could fit to varying point thresholds. And in order to get the maximum amount of points possible for that week, you have to use the highest tier armor for that slot. Now, MMO communities being MMO communities, this is usually cracked within a couple hours, and you can just check Reddit and see what armor pieces you need, and hope you have them in your armor chest, or otherwise you're going to have to buy them on the in-game market board for sometimes obscene amounts of money. Now, bringing this back to Monster Hunter, I already feel like this system could work with very minor tweaks in terms of just the overall gameplay loop, getting presented with a theme that you need to show to an NPC wear layered armor that matches that theme and get rewarded with a special type of ticket that you can use to craft maybe new armor sets, or maybe this could be something that they tie into the festivals that they have been doing for EventQuest since Monster Hunter World, and have each festival have different themes that it could cycle through as part of the bounty system that you have to make layered armor for, probably using some of that festival armor, and then you get rewarded with tickets. Either tickets or maybe meal vouchers or something mechanically unique. I think it would be really cool if they had specific pieces of fashion layered armor that you could only get by participating in fashion bounties. I could also see this working in Monster Hunter very similarly to the Final Fantasy method, where maybe in the guild hall you have to present yourself to the diva. Every week she gives you a quest to impress her with your fashion statements, and I just thought about this now while I was recording. Maybe if they go that route, if you present your fashion to the diva, maybe you get a special item that you can burn to get the benefit of the diva song buffs without having to wait for the diva song to play and sit through the cutscene and everything. That would be neat. That would be a cool way to incorporate, to give you a mechanical benefit to your hunts, while still prioritizing the just kind of fun and real side content nature of a fashion hunting system. Either way, it would be a good way to kind of give players more to do in the endgame of Monster Hunter outside of that loop of hunt, craft, etc. There's been a lot of talk lately about Monster Hunter Wilds in particular not having enough content, and I don't personally agree with that, but I do see where people are coming from. I think people are expecting Monster Hunter to be more of a live service game, and I feel like Capcom is trying to avoid heading in that direction, but I feel like they're going to. So I feel like this would be a good sort of baby steps mechanic to ease the older players like myself who don't want the game to be live service and like being able to take breaks in between content lulls and stuff like that. And for, the newer players who are expecting constant updates of content and constant new things to do throughout the game's life cycle. It would be a good way to bridge those kind of disparate viewpoints on what the game should be in a way that doesn't completely isolate either group, I have been thinking a lot about these kind of mechanics, and I might make more videos on them. Who knows? We'll see how this one does. But I would like to know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments. The way that I described kind of a fashion hunting mechanic, do you feel like it could work? The way that it works in Final Fantasy XIV as I described it, do you think that could work in Monster Hunter as is, or would they need to make more drastic changes? I would love to hear what you think. I would love to know if you have any ideas as to what a more fashion hunting focused mechanic could look like, and all that jazz. So, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I will see y'all next time.